Hello and welcome to this demonstration of Coursework 2 for EICG501 3D Graphics Programming. So this is really just to give you an idea of something similar to this that you will be building for Coursework 2. What I'll do is I'll just show you the functionality. You can see from the layout here, I have the hoops on the back wall. We've also populated this 3D space with some of the available textures. Now these textures are just simply sitting on either rectangles or just small squares in the case of the flower textures. So what you do first is you simply need to put down a small square quad in there and then apply a texture to it. These textures are transparent. So you need to work that out. Similarly for these bushes that are along the walls here, again this is just simply a rectangular geometry underneath that a texture has been applied to in various places. And alternatively you could, so if you're happy with Photoshop, this back wall for example, where we have this arrangement of flowers here, you could do it as a single texture and then apply one big rectangle and just apply it to that or something similar. I've actually placed these individually. The idea I might try and do it randomly at some point, but it's up to you that. Okay, so again we just have this arrangement of hoops on the back wall here. You can see the moving skybox quite clearly in this. You can also see the two controls. I've opted just for a single line, so from when I change this horizontal control, you'll see that it just simply moves a line. I decided preferred that instead of a fill. So I've just gone for that, but you can choose to do a fill, which is just fill this graphic here, or you can just choose to do a line as I've got. You can see I've still got this dots, which I was using, a bit of code I gave you just to help you locate where things are in your 3D world. The score that I've got uses a slightly different way of render a bitmap string. It renders something slightly differently, and if anyone's interested in doing this, let me know. The advantage of this is you can actually scale these and you can rotate them, and you can do more with the graphics as well, so more with the text. If you apply the straightforward render bitmap string, then what you'll find is you can't really do much with it, and it's quite a limited character set. So this is called, instead of doing the render, what you do is you just use stroke a character instead. But if anyone's interested in doing this type of layout for the score, then let me know and I can point them to the code I've done for this. Okay, so to use it then, in my case I'm just firing the space bar, and you can see the ball, just line that back up, will roughly go, it should go straight if I don't touch set any of the controls. Here you can see on the right hand side my yellow bar's going up, and there you go, I should be able to kick the ball over the wall there. What I've done is, once the ball's been drawn past the length, past where the extent of the wall, which in my case is I think plus 350 Z, then I stop the ball there and then just respot it back where it is. Okay. Similarly, if it hits the wall, this will just about reach the wall, and then it will pop back there. My follow the ball, just to show you what this looks like, is if I press F and then fire again, you'll see that the ball now, a camera effectively just sits behind the ball and follows it along. This is actually very easy to do. If you've worked out where your ball's moving in X, Y and Z, then it's pretty easy then just to move behind it. You just have to get it's simply a translation. Just got to get in the right place, which is, because it's affecting the whole world view, is usually at the top of the code where you're doing your render. So that's actually not as hard as it might seem. Also go for a GL translate as opposed to try to use a look at. You probably have more trouble with trying to do the look at to do this. The translate is pretty simple. Okay, so that's that. And you can generally just toggle that. Right, so the idea is pretty simple. Is we aim the ball using the controls to hit one of the hoops. In my case, if I detect a hit, you can see it then grays it out Okay, technically I could hit them twice, so it'd be nice to remove that. And the game's just played like this. Okay, just to show you what the angles are doing, I can toggle my angle data just so you can see now. This has just appeared at the top here, just to give you an idea what's going on. So you can see I've converted, obviously, my key motion, which is obviously just incrementing a value up and down. I've converted that into angles, and these are real angles in the game world as well. So in this case I've got a maximum angle of 45 degrees, which is sort of sensible for the geometry. If I kick the ball at 45 degrees, you can see I'm going way above the wall. Okay. Likewise, if you're looking back here again, for theta, I've arranged it so it will actually go, it would be a negative angle going that way and a positive angle going this way. So you could do something similar, and particularly if you follow the maths which is in Appendix A, that's all I've used. That's what I've calculated, what I've worked out for this particular problem. So if you follow the maths in that, just codify it, then you can have a similar layout. So you'll see if I go into my negative angles, ball's going to the left, and in the positive it's going over to the right. I've got no rebound, no gravity, so this is just going in a straight line for wherever we're launching it from, as you can see. So there is, in my case, I've not implemented the 10 goes. I've kind of decided not to, so I may remove that from the coursework. So feel free to really experiment with the game rules. One idea I had was just to have a timer to basically how long it took you to clear all the hoops is probably a bit more interesting from a game point of view in here. And that's really it. The collisions are just simply squares on the back wall, as you can see. Fairly easy to do. Once the balls reach roughly where the wall is, then just really you want to check the bounds of each of these hoops, and as I explained in the lecture, you'll find that square fits nicely in the centre of the hoops. You do get some odd detection. It doesn't look quite realistic. You'd be better with something that's actually the same shape as the hoop, but it's not bad. I tend to want to have to hit the top of it for some reason. And that's really it. So it's quite useful to do this, just to print out your angles, particularly when you're setting up your code. As well, it says I programmed an R, which just simply resets everything. So you can just have a reset function, sets the score, and retextures all the hoops as well. And swapping in the grey dull hoop is fairly easy. Just wherever you're drawing these hoops, you just need to simply set a boolean that once a hoop's been hit. There's a little bit of tracking to do, because the hoops, you need to know which hoop it is you've hit, and the hoop should have a score. So I will put a small structure up, C structure, which I used to do these hoops, and you can use that or adapt it, or do something different. Okay, so that's about it for this EICG Coursework 2 demonstration. Thank you.